Okay, good morning class. Welcome to Cross and Multicultural Understanding, Session 3. Today, our learning objective is you will be able to describe cross-cultural effectiveness. Okay, as we have learned in our Introduction to Linguistics class, from those socio-linguistic point of view, we have the term of dialects of every language. These dialects, of course, are related to educational, economic, social, and historical conditions. And in American English itself, non-standard dialect exists within all racial, ethnic, regional groups, and each dialect is a product of a distinct social, historical, cultural, and educational factors. Non-standard American English, we can see the varieties such as General American Non-Standard English, New York City Non-Standard English, or Spanish Influence English. And then cultural differences in this course play a role here. In addition to difference in pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar and structures among cultural groups, variations also exist in the rules for general discourse in oral communications, covering such specific as narrative and conversations. Some aspect of communications that influence cultural effectiveness are opening or closing conversations, taking turn during conversations, interrupting, using silence as communicative device, knowing appropriate topics of conversation, interjecting humor at appropriate times, using nonverbal behavior, expressing laughter as a communicative device, knowing the appropriate amount of speech to be used by participants, and sequencing some elements during discourse. And then in cultural communication, unfamiliarity with cultural communication differences can lead to misinterpretation, misunderstanding, and even unintentional insult. So, for example, from people with the A culture, it's not a problem to talk loudly to older people, but the one from different culture which have different rules will think that it is rude to talk louder to older people. Okay, and then in American, the example is like the African Americans students who looks away from speakers during conversation may be erroneously perceived as showing disrespect or not paying attention. The African American students who freely states his or her position to the teacher may be perceived as challenging the teacher's authority, when the students may be demonstrating honesty and pride in the value of his or her opinion. So, this is about our cultural communications. Maybe you can observe if your parents come from different ethnics in Indonesia. For example, your father is a Japanese and your mom is a Sundanese, or you can observe different values in your family. Maybe for your father's family, that's okay to do this, and this, but for your mother, it will be a problem. Okay, so the simple example is you observe it in your family. If your family are different ethnic, your parents or your parents, your father and your mother. Or another way is you grow up here in Jakarta, and then you have culture values of Jakartan people, and one day you visit a small city, or let's say hometown of your parents in, for example, in the East Java, and then you will see how you behave differently from them. Okay,